Are you ready to burst back into your bikini or whatever bathing suit that you wear? Well, we want to help you today by giving you 3 tips to burn that belly fat. I'm Nathan Oates, and my wife and I have been helping for the last 4 years, to literally change thousands and thousands of people's health, their life, as well as even their finances. And we want to help you today by just giving a few tips to help you along the journey, because it's a journey that we're on. So we're glad you're with us, and we hope that you enjoy it. I want to start off by saying, take a look at this picture and let me know how it inspires you. Why don't you take a look?
Let it go, can't hold it back anymore, let it go.
So, pretty shocking, huh? Were you inspired or were you more horrified? I'm not sure really what the look was, and I'm not really sure what those guys were trying to do or what, but what I do know is they were extremely proud. And yes, that is a bathing suit. It is called a mankini. Now, I would never be in that type of bathing suit. Some people, to each his own, I guess that's the way it works. But everyone, if we're honest, summer's coming regardless, and we want to get ready for bathing suit weather, and really not just from the perspective of your appearance, as those guys, they didn't really care about their appearance. They love their top hats as well, but really on the issue of health, because the outside does reflect a lot about our health, and we want to help give you a good quality of life. And that's why you're watching this, because you want to have 3 solid tips to burn off that belly fat. And if any type of bathing suit, a mankini will show you that you need to burn belly fat off, as well as any bikini or Speedo or anything like that, any bathing suit really. Let me ask you a question. Are you afraid of wearing that bathing suit? Are you afraid of getting, you know, obviously ladies, it tends to be a little bit more reserved, but if guys are honest, we're a little more insecure and reserved than we let on to be. We know that we've been hiding underneath a fur coat for some of us. Some of us have been hiding underneath a lot more than that, several layers of skin and fat, and that's coming off. The summer's coming, it gets hot, and we can be a little insecure in what we look like. But again, it's not just about what we look like, it's about our health. And we want to make sure that your health is good, that you have a good quality of life. So that's the perspective we're taking from. So we're going to jump into these 3 tips, and we want to let you know that this will help you along the journey of life, so that it can be simple, that you can be hopeful that it's going to work. So tip number 1, get to bed early. Early to bed, early to rise. Why is that such an important tip in burning fat, especially belly fat? Well, studies have shown that if you get to bed before 11 o'clock, your body is allowed then to begin to repair, to have your metabolism continue to burn throughout the night, and you release fat before that time frame. After 11 o'clock, and right around the 11 o'clock time frame, your body exerts something called cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And I'm going to talk more about that here in a moment. But what it does are many negative side effects, and you don't want that in your body. These effects actually increase your appetite. They keep you from burning fat. It actually signals your body to keep on and hold fat. So you want to get to bed early, ideally by about 10 o'clock if you can do it, so that your body can repair, it can begin to work for you. And by doing those things, you're going to be able to get in a good 7 hours. And 7 hours is about the time frame and the amount of sleep that we each need to have in our bodies to really function at our highest levels and to help increase our quality of life. So get to bed early, early to rise. Tip number 2, sprint. Yes, doesn't matter how old or how young or what your disabilities are, at some level you can sprint. You can exert 90 to 100%. That's what BurstClub is all about. BurstClub.com, it signals your body, and it's a program and method that will signal your body and literally reprogram your metabolism. I think all of us want our body reprogrammed, our metabolism especially reprogrammed, and BURST stands for Body's Ultimate Response Shock Training. So by doing that, we have scheduled in sprint days. Now, if you're not a member of BurstClub, you can still go out and sprint. You want to have 2 to 3 days a week where all you do is sprint. That could be on a bike, that could be on a treadmill. Now, I'm not a big fan of doing things indoors if you can help it. Obviously, if it's cold out, but especially as things are getting warmer, get outside, sprint, go your 90, 100%. Those bikes sometimes, as well as the treadmills, they actually pace you where you're not exerting 90 to 100%. and your body's not getting everything it possibly could be. But if you want to burn fat the fastest, one of the most effective and powerful ways is to do sprinting. So get out there 90 to 100% and get after it. This could be swimming, biking, running, anything where you are doing a sprint effect and your body's going to respond by burning that belly fat. Tip number 3, live with margin. What do I mean by this? Why is this important in burning belly fat? Well, if you know anything about business, if you know anything about finances, you want to make sure that you live with margin within that business and within those finances to make sure that, if you will, some cushion. Now, we don't want cushion on our body. That's what we're trying to get rid of. But in finances, you want some cushion. In business, you want some cushion. So this will actually, by doing these things and actually making it a challenge to live with margin in your life, both with your time, your finances, with your spouse, with your significant other, whatever it is, giving yourself time. You want to make sure that your spending does not equal the same amount of income you have coming in. You want to have margin. You want it to be separated. And by doing that, your body's not going to release that cortisol like I talked about earlier. We lived in a stressed out generation. One of the biggest things that holds on to belly fat, as well as keeps you from releasing belly fat, is stress. And we need to decrease that stress. And one way to do that is live with margin in your life. If you've never done it, begin to do that this month. The 3 tips are early to bed, early to rise. That's going to help you burn fat and belly fat all over just by doing that one tip. Number 2, you're going to burn belly fat very, very fast, as well as body fat, by beginning to sprint. Burst training, as I mentioned before, at BurstClub.com is a huge way to do that. And number 3, live with margin. Again, if you're wanting to help with time, to relieve stress, Burst Club can help with the fitness side of things. Instead of going for 2 hours, feeling like you have to do that in order to get benefit. You don't have to do it that way. It can be simple. Life can be simple. Fitness, finances, health can be simple. Just begin to take these steps. So take the challenge this next month. Get to bed early this month. Go out 2 to 3 times this week and begin to sprint, and do it every 2 to 3 times a week for the next month. And begin to write down goals of how you can actually build margin in your life. Set those goals. Just by doing those 3 tips alone, you're going to see the belly fat begin to pour off of you, because we don't want that, and you're going to be ready for your bikini, mankini, or any other bathing suit. Thanks for joining me.